Hello and welcome to another session of Mindful Data Minds. In today's session, we will be discussing about how we can create our own dataset in SAS using cards or data line statement. So in SAS, if we have a requirement where we need to create a new dataset using the text which is available in hand, we use either cards or data line statement to create the new dataset. So without wasting much time, let's start with the hands-on session. So for this, first I'll write a new data step, data A, like we used to write earlier. Now instead of set, we will use input statement. So if you want, you can see the description about input here as well. After input, it require the column name which we want to create in SAS dataset. So let's assume that we are creating data for an employee and it contains employee ID, name, department, and city where the employee resides. Okay, now either we can use data lines or we can use cards. After cards, SAS expect us to write the data which we have with us. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll write the employee ID as 1, name as A, department as sales, and city as Delhi. Then my second record 2, B, maybe HR and Mumbai. And then I'll add another record 3, C, analytics and Chandigarh, Chandigarh. Now once we have written all the data which we have in our hand, we need to press the enter and then we need to add a semicolon which will tell SAS, okay, whatever we have added above semicolon is all our data which needs to be inserted in a data set known as A, which will have these 4 columns, and in the end we will simply write run. Now let's run this and check the results. We got a dataset A created with employee ID 123, name it's dot dot dot, department is dot dot dot, city is dot dot dot. Now why this happened? So basically in SAS, a dot mainly represent a numeric type of variable. So in case if you have a null or blank for a numeric variable, it will be represented by dot. And if it is a character type of variable, then it will be either blank you can say or null. Okay, also if you see here this image, it's 123, and if you click here also it will say numeric. If you see the length, it's 8 characters. So by default SAS has set the length to 8 character and numeric for all the variables. Now what we need to do in case we want to make name, department, city as character variable. So for this, SAS simply says if this is a character type of variable, then after your variable name you need to add a dollar symbol. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll quickly add dollar in front of name, department and city, and then I'll again run this. Let's check the result this time. Now this time we are getting employee ID as 123, name as ABC as expected, department as sales, HR and analytic, city as Delhi, Mumbai, Chandigarh. Why we are getting analytic instead of analytics and Chandigarh instead of Chandigarh? As mentioned earlier, by default, length set by SAS is 8 characters. So whatever we have after 8 character will be trimmed. That's why we are only able to see first 8 characters. So in order to tackle this situation, what SAS has asked us, or it has provided us with the length which we can define for each variable. Now this can be in the form of format like we are putting right now. We will be discussing about format at a later stage, but for now we are just creating a format. So this is a character type of variable which will have a length of 10 characters. When we put a dot in the end, it signifies okay, this is a format having length of 10 characters. So when we write it like this and run it, now we should get Chandigarh and analytics. See, we are getting the data, but another problem arises here is that now SAS start reading up to 10 characters because we have forced SAS to read till 10 characters. That's why it has started reading 10 characters. So A is my first character and it started reading till DE. So if you see, this are like 10 characters. That's why we are getting this problem. So to overcome this situation, SAS has provided us with a modifier known as colon. This. So if I write colon in front of the character variable, okay, it signifies that okay, you need to read 10 characters. Here it is mentioned as 10 because that's why I'm saying it as 10 characters. But in case if you find any delimiter, so in this case the delimiter is space. Somewhere you can find it as comma or maybe some other special character or something else. So in case if you find a delimiter, you need to break the record by delimiter. That means if you get a space separator or delimiter, then the anything which is coming after that will goes to another variable. It won't remain in the same variable. Okay, so when we run it like this, let's see what will happen in this case. Now if you see, we are getting employee ID as 123, name as ABC, department as sales HR analytics, and for city we are getting Delhi, Mumbai, Chandigarh. So apart from this, like writing the length in format, SAS has also provided us with a statement known as length. So if we want, instead of writing it in format, we can directly write length here, and after that we need to put the variable name followed by type of variable and its length. So if you see carefully, I haven't put a dot here because this is not format. We are just defining length of each and every variable. I can change it to 15, 25, whatever I want to. So it's not like that we need to set length for each variable same. I can change it in the way I want to. Okay, and from here now I can remove this. Okay, now we need not to have this, but we still need the colon modifier. It's because we have defined the length, so SAS will read till that particular length. So now if I try to run this, let's see the result. It should be same. We are getting name as ABC, department as sales, HR analytics, city as Delhi, Mumbai, Chandigarh, employee ID is 123. But if you see, we are getting name, department, city first followed by employee ID. This is because we have defined length first, followed by the input. So first these three columns are created, followed by employee ID. That's why we are getting it in this sequence. Now what if the name is first name and last name? Example, let's add a last name for A as D, okay, for B as E, for C as F. Now what will happen in this case? Let's try and run it, and then we will check. So our code breaks in this case. So for a situation like this, SAS has also provided us with another modifier called ampersand. So for such situation, SAS has given us with a modifier named as ampersand, or this and symbol, which simply says if you have a condition like first name space last name. So for all those conditions, what you can do is, instead of putting colon, you can simply put ampersand, and after the last name you need to put another space, so that SAS can understand, okay, if we are getting one space, that means it's first name and last name. If I'm getting more than one space, like in this case, then I need to break the record and put the next item into the next variable. So if I run it like this, I should be able to get the records. Name now I'm getting as ADBECF, department as Sales HR Analytics, city as Delhi, Mumbai, Chandigarh, and employee ID is 123. So in this way, we can create our own data set using text and using data lines and cards. Well, this is all for this session. I'll see you in the next session. Thank you.